Whether it's a picnic in the park or a cool and easy dinner when it's too hot to cook, sandwiches in summer go together like peanut butter and jelly. And there's no better bread to build your favorite sandwich on than Country Hearth Natural Breads. Try their Dakota-style 12-grain or 100% whole wheat bread. Baked the old-fashioned way with whole grains and real honey. Country Hearth Hearty Breads are not only a nutritious choice for your family, but a delicious one too. Country Hearth Breads, locally baked and delivered fresh daily.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Precision Mechanical, your local heating and air conditioning company, serving Rapid City, Spearfish, and the surrounding area since 2006. Precision Mechanical is here to help you stay cool this summer. If your air conditioning goes out, they have a technician on call 24/7. Also, if you need a new system, Precision is your local Lennox Premier dealer. For all of your servicing needs, maintenance, or a new system, it's Precision Mechanical. So beat the heat this summer. Just Google Precision Mechanical.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their number one priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Need to know.
It's been a day of deals in the NFL, and one just coming down in the past few minutes. The Minnesota Vikings and tackle Christian Darrisaw reportedly agreed on a 4-year deal that could be worth up to $113 million, according to multiple reports. The Rams are restructuring the contract of quarterback Matthew Stafford, who had just $15 million worth of guaranteed money on the final 2 years of his contract that goes through 2026. Browns guaranteed Amari Cooper's contract for 2024. That's $20 million, and they also increased his pay by adding an additional $5 million worth of incentives as part of that deal. Jets edge rusher Hassan Reddick will not report to training camp. He wants a new contract. Brandon Ayuk wants to be traded, but the 49ers wide receiver did show up today. And NFLPA Executive Director Lloyd Howell told the Washington Post the union and league have had high-level talks about an 18-game schedule.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in on a Tuesday. How are you, everybody? It's a little warm today. It's going to get warmer. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Summer in the Black Hills. We enjoy it. Welcome in. Tuesday edition of the show. We're back from our downtown studio. Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is live. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a solid day. We're on 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. Bring us up on your phone, foxsportsrapidcity.com. So stream us there. And a couple of ways you can watch the show live in studio. Welcome in on YouTube. Search for us and subscribe to the channel. You've got us YouTube, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. And we're also on X, streaming live right now. Follow the show and watch us live at Nate Brown Show on X. Interact with us, question of the day, all the fun stuff there. Welcome in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, the number one preferred provider when it comes to orthopedic care. So don't let an injury slow you down, whether you're a weekend warrior or an elite athlete. You have kids, elite athlete, they take care of the weekend warrior to the elite athlete, keeping them in the game. Don't chance it. Work with the pros. Better access, more options at Black Hills Ortho. Also has urgent care. Start online to learn more, BHOSC.com. Number one preferred provider in the region, Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online, BHOSC.com, specializing in what moves you. Out of the gate on a Tuesday, we'll have some fun today, some questions of the day, a little thought-provoking sports talk. What do we got cooking up? Good stuff. Let's look at the guest lineup. NFL preview time. So we're making our way through the league. Today, we're going to go out to Seattle. Let's go out to Seattle. They just started training camp today. So all you Seahawks fans, I'm counting you up. I see 4 of you out there right No. The Seahawks, come on. Seattle Seahawks preview today. Let's look at the NFC West. Can the Seahawks get in the mix? They got a little South Dakota connection now. Ryan Grubb, who was the offensive coordinator for Kalen DeBoer. Ryan Grubb's the new OC for the Seahawks. And you got some interesting developments out there. Brand new coach. They have the youngest coach now in the NFL, Mike McDonald. Youngest coach, 37 years old. We're going to go to Seattle Seahawks training camp for an update on our NFL previews tonight. Greg Bell is in, Seahawks beat writer for the News Tribune. Also, college football talk with Mike McFeely and the FCS. Mike McFeely live from Fargo, North Dakota, Inforum.com. I'm going to break down that North Dakota State CU Buffs line with McFeely today. Out to Big Ten Media Days. It started today. Coaches talking about their programs, and one's really getting hype, man. There's some big hype around this program. It's not a surprise. We'll go out to Big Ten Media Days. Jake Sorensen's on tonight. Huskers, Big Ten. He's out there covering it for 93.7 The Ticket out of Lincoln. And then on the local side, post-22 baseball, there's kind of been a switcheroo. They had games for the Super Regional lined up. Then they were switched again. So here's the official deal for post-22 this week. If you've been watching the Hard Hats, they will play in the regional. This is the best of 3 series to go to the state tournament. If you've kind of lost track, how do they do the Legion stuff? We used to have regions and play through them. Now they have a 3-game series in a regional matchup based on the seed points throughout the season. So it's post-22 taking on Huron, and it'll be Thursday, game 1 at 7, and then game 2 at 10 a.m. on Friday, game 3, if necessary, at 12:30. So that's your official scorecard. Thursday night, game 1 of the regional post-22 against Huron, Fitzgerald Stadium, 7 o'clock Thursday, 10 a.m. Friday morning, and then if necessary, a game 3 in that series to go to state. That'll be at 12:30 on Friday if necessary. We'll talk to Kelvin Torvey tonight, post-22 head coach. Nice season, only 15 losses on the board. Can the Hard Hats make a run and become the state champions as they try and get back that crown? And also out to Sioux Falls tonight. Brand new guest, familiar to the show. He's very familiar. A lot of interactions between this guy and I. Boy, it's going to be a showdown tonight. Zach Borg is on tonight. Who's Zach? Sports anchor, Dakota News Now out of Sioux Falls. And he is maybe the president of the Kansas City Chiefs fan club in South Dakota. We're going to have Zach on tonight, talk about the Sioux Falls Little League state tournament run. All right, busy Tuesday show. Let's get to it. 720-1067 is our number, 720-1067. Now you know it. Chime in on the studio line. We've got you there. And the Barron's Wilson text line, same number. Barron's Wilson listener text line for you, 720-1067. Direct text the show, and I've got that here. Okay, let's start with something I heard out of coach here, okay? Something I heard. It's an interesting discussion. I'm going to start the show with it, and then I'll get to this story that came out, or I should say this opening game, and I'm going to see where you're at on this for the college football season. Since all the media days are going on, we'll get to that. I wanted to start the show with this. I'm seeing all the kids putting in work this summer, right? And they're trying to get better and trying to, put in the work that you're supposed to do. Basketball, soccer, and the list goes on. Baseball, football. I'm seeing workouts. So my mornings consist of, hey, I'm running down and I'm seeing all these kids doing all the off-season work, which is what we wanted. I mentioned this last week. So I think that's great. I think it's outstanding. And there's a lot of kids involved and putting in work and trying to get better. And I got to thinking to myself, do people know, a couple of things here, how much work it takes for the coaches on this front? We like criticizing that we need better coaching or a better coach or more time put in or more commitment. That we got to win more. We got to call better plays. We got to do all this. Easy to criticize, very hard to look at it and say, are you looking objectively at all the work and all the time that's being put in the offseason and 100-degree days and putting on camps for kids and putting on workouts for players that are trying to get better. You're going to say, well, that's just part of the deal. It is part of the deal, but it's a commitment, and I think it gets overlooked. I think it just gets clouded over. If this program or this coach doesn't have success, we easily say, we got to get a better coach. I mean, this person, they don't know what they're doing. They didn't do it. Not seeing all the time. And so I just wanted to put that out there on this Tuesday, saying I've been going all summer. There's kids putting in a ton of work. There's coaches putting in a ton of work at 6 a.m. and they're up and they're going. And that's not just the end of the story then. Then it's youth camps for other kids that are coming later in the day. I mean, it's one of those things I think we overlook, and people like saying, well, we gotta get our programs better and all of this and that. Nobody ever sees the stuff that does go on. Is there enough of the players and buy-in from the entire team? Some programs, yes. I will say some programs, no. But I am seeing some good work by coaches, some good work by kids, putting in work in the offseason. Now, what is this work leading to? Why I'm bringing this up today, I was talking with a coach, and I was told by a coach that they think most kids these days think they can play in college. And I start my show with this because summertime, all of this stuff's going on. Why are the kids putting in the work? Is it for their contribution to their high school, to their team, their contribution as maybe a role player in this way, but you still got to put in the work? Or is it, I'm going to do this, and I've got to do this and this and this to get to the college level? There's a big question that's been asked over the years. People have wondered, how many kids get to go play college? There's quite a few, actually, if you really look at it. There's kids out of Rapid City that are going to play college left and right. Not big-time college, and you can have that argument, oh, they're not going big-time. No, there's a few and far between going big-time. But there's quite a few more now that are going here and there and here and there. There's a lot of kids that are trying to play college sports, and then some that get that opportunity. Not all of them are finishing it out. But this coach and I had this discussion, and it's interesting, and I bring it into the show because I think in our sports culture, how many parents in the sports world think their kid is going to play college? So it's twofold as I see all this work put in, and I think it's great. I wonder how many of the players, and I'm talking 11-year-old to 16 years old, in that stretch, how many of the players think, I'm putting in the work because I'm trying to play college? How many of the parents think, I think my kid can play college? Well, we just got to do this, and we got to go to that camp, and we got to go to this tournament, and we got to go to this showcase, and all of this stuff that adds up, and everybody's been traveling this summer and going all over the place. That's my question of the day. I talked to this coach. This coach said many. They wouldn't tell me like a percentage, like, oh, it's everybody. This coach told me there are a ton of people in the high school ranks that think they're going to try and play college, not understanding, yeah, there's maybe more opportunities, a small school here or a small school there, but playing college is another level in and of itself. And everybody, it looks at it and we say, are we playing just to enjoy and compete and be in a good environment? What is high school sports for? That's the bigger question I start my show with today. If I ask you that, what are kids playing high school sports for in Rapid City? I wonder what percentage of them would say, number one answer, fun. What are kids playing high school sports for? I wonder how many of them would say you grab a freshman today. What are you playing high school sports for? Whatever sport it is. How many of them would say, I'm trying to get to a college scholarship? And then on that other side of it, how many sports parents think their kid can get a college scholarship today. This is an interesting conversation I had with the coach. We were discussing it. They've seen this happen more and more recently. It's not all the time. It's not everybody. High percentage of folks think, I'm a college player. I am a college player. And in the realistic viewpoint, if you're objective and looking at it from the outside, man, there's not as many. You probably aren't a college player. And that's fine. But how does it change your viewpoint of being a part of that team? How does it change your viewpoint of what type of athlete you are? Should you just bag it? Well, I'm not a college player. No, that's not the point. And the coach was telling me there's just too many players that think, well, I'm a college player, so I got to do this and this and this, and it's about me. Is that really, has that turned today? Honestly. So if I asked you that question, what percentage of high school kids, I'll just grab a random varsity team. What percentage of that team thinks they're college players, college athletes? Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Well, Nate, I watched Wilt Chamberlain play with the Harlem Globetrotters, so I've been around a little bit. I think it's 60-40 parents. You
do? 60% think they're college athletes, the parents.
Oh, God, yes. You know what? I'm going to use one guy as an example, but it's completely opposite. He's a well-known trainer. He was a heck of a track athlete. I coached his daughter one year, and he goes, I just don't know. He goes, I'm not even going to try with this one. And she's turning out to be the best athlete. But, it came to her. He didn't push it on her.
Right.
I mean, this kid was chasing butterflies, Nate, during a soccer game.
Right.
All right. She's 9 years old, Nate.
Right,
okay?
right.
I give you the 8, okay? And then you look at her dad, and he's just like, oh, good Lord. But, my daughter played in a tennis tournament as a 16-year-old. It was an adult open tournament in Omaha. She took the top player to 3 sets. And then, they were talking afterwards, and Caitlin was going, I want to play college. And she goes, you'd be a perfect Division II tennis player.
Sure.
Caitlin took a girl, and you can look at it. This lady's won like 20, 25
but
Nebraska Opens.
By the way, that's okay. If I'm a Division II, that's great. This coach was telling me there might be one Division II player, maybe, but quite a few of them actually think they are college players when they're not.
Yeah. With all these schools nowadays offering sports to get more money, you can play somewhere if you want, but let's have a little reality.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
How many kids have we seen go to college and play, and you don't ever hear of them after 2 years?
Correct. You are correct. That is correct. I mean, that's not made up. There's kids that are signing, and then after a year or two, I go, what happened to this kid? And
I got an older granddaughter, got an academic scholarship. She played 3 sports in high school, and she was middle of the pack. She was good enough to make the team and to be on the team, but nothing. And when she got that academic scholarship, she got a lot more because they looked at her activities.
Yes,
wow,
that is right.
The debate team played basketball.
Yeah.
You were just volunteer and ran track.
So you say 60% of parents today think they're college athletes. You think that's about right?
All you got to do is go to a little league, or come with me, Nate. You and I will ref a traveling basketball.
Oh boy.
We'll do 5th grade and 6th grade.
Now that would be content for this show. Now that would be content.
Then you can feel the heck that I feel some days when I ref them, and people wonder, God, he gave me a technical pretty quick.
Yeah, you've been there, done that. All right, man. I appreciate that. Thanks
care.
for getting in. It was an interesting discussion I had with the coach. Very interesting. I love this dynamic. Has our viewpoint changed in high school sports, and it even goes down to the youth level, and it's all connected. And my opinion is the youth sports level fuels the unrealistic expectations as we get to high school. Here's the example. I was a really good player on this team. I was a really good player. And then I get to high school. Maybe I played Black Hills youth football, right? I was a really good player. Then we get to high school, and I changed or something happened. And, well, what's the deal? How come I'm not a real good player? How come I'm not the star at Stevens? I was the star on the Denver Broncos out in Piedmont. I was the star. And this coach was talking to me, just saying, hey, it's really interesting. Really interesting. So many players think they're college players. And this coach wants everybody to have that opportunity. Trying to coach you, that's part of the gig, I believe, as a coach. They put in all the time in the summer, and I just told you that. I'm watching all the workouts and all the effort. Absolutely. Kids are putting in the work. The question is it for high school, competing, making their team better, and making yourself better, or is it, well, I can get a college scholarship, because then you bring that into the high school level, and it does change the team dynamics, I believe. It changes the team dynamics if it's, I'm trying to get to college, man. I don't care what sport it is. I really don't. Now, there's some individual sports, the wrestling, the track, that's a little different. The team sports in general, what I'm talking about, this was a team sport coach saying, man, there's so many players that think they're college players. And realistically, they're not. But if they just did this or that and had a role, they would be so much more effective and the team would be so much better. It's a really interesting discussion. So I said, I'm going to throw that out in the Nate Brown Show question of the day. How does that impact our view on sports? I do believe youth sports, I'm really good as an 11-year-old and 12-year-old. Unbelievable. I was the star. That fuels the parents' expectations, and now I still want to be the star in high school, and now it's real business. I need to get a college scholarship. And the coach said there's a huge number. The coach never felt that was the case prior. This coach said it's getting to be like that a lot. So in your experience, that's my question of the day. You guys, you're out there, you're talking to parents. You've been through maybe some of you have been through the process. Some of you have kids that done the college thing, maybe not. In your experience, what percentage of sports parents think, yes, my kid can play in college? These are sports parents across the board. Football, soccer, volleyball, basketball. In your experience, what percentage of sports parents think their kid can play in college? What do you think? Steve told me 60%. That's not bad. I think that's not bad. I'm going to give you my read on it in my experience. Not everybody is, oh, I'm a college player. But I think if you were honest, people look at rose-colored glasses. We all do. And we put on those glasses as parents. We say, no, I think if he or she wanted to, we could play in college. And there's so many small colleges I could do junior college. I could do D3. I could do NAIA. I mean, we got some opportunities here. And I'm a college player. Should that impact the way you play in high school? That was the point of the coach. What do you say to that? How many sports parents think their kid can play in college? Little psychological study on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy of Twitter X. Always such a safe space to get real information. Here we go. Let's put it in there. 57% say it's about 50-50. So that's the reaction on Twitter X. 57% say sports parents think their kid can play in college. About 50-50. About half. Half say, yeah, I'm a college athlete. Half saying, no, we're okay. I mean, we'll be good. Let's try and play high school sports, and that's going to be good for us. 43% say 90% of sports parents think their kid can play in college. Is that 90% of sports parents can 43% of my audience, see how that works? 43% of the audience on Twitter X said, 90% plus sports parents think their kid could play in college. Is that right? Listener text 720-1067. What do you have to say? I'd say almost every kid parents on traveling teams think their kids are playing in college. Well, that's an interesting one. There's different dynamics out there. So, hey, we're on this team. We're on a traveling team. I just pointed that out. Like, I'm 12 years old. I'm really good. I'm on this team. We're going to go to Phoenix and stuff like that. I mean, we're the real deal. Do they all think they're going to play in college? Some of them are. This is realistic. Some of them are. I'm here to tell you, some of them aren't. And the coach that I was talking about the team dynamic and the off-season work and all of the effort and the kids that are putting in, the coach that I was talking to said there's so many kids that think they're college players, and this coach said they're not, but they think they are, and that's kind of been the goal now. Not the goal of playing for your school, competing, winning state title. Let's see. Listener text. Nate, what did your parents think about you as a kid if they thought how you would play in college? Well, let me tell you my story. You want to hear my story? I was the black sheep on my... No, I'm just kidding. My brother played in college. Unbelievable athlete. Unbelievable. Starter, D1 at Wyoming. And so it was really easy to see. You know why I know about this? You know how I'm educated on this? Why I'm doing this segment? I could see it. I could see my brother, and then I was 5 years behind him. So there's my brother, 5 years behind him. There's me, and boy, you could really tell that I wasn't going to play in college, okay? It was really easy. Here's what it takes. Here's how fast it's going to be, how strong you're going to be, all of that stuff. And then there was me. They say, wait, you do a good job talking about sports. Let's have Brian play sports, and you can talk about. No, come on. I played sports, but I wasn't kidding myself later in high school. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this play-by-play and do the sports stuff, and I don't think at 5'9" I'm going to be much of a player. Sorry, that's pushing it. 5'9" like Bronny. I'm like Bronny with shoes. Jake Sorensen in next from Big Ten Media Days. We're off and running. He covered the Huskers and more. Who's the big team they're talking about at the Big Ten today? Jake Sorensen from 93.7 The Ticket out of Lincoln next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
At Denny Manor Rapid Chevrolet, we took in a lot full of great trades during our super sale. Now they gotta go to make room for new Chevy inventory. Shop the Black Hills' best selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, plus GM certified pre-owned. Over 300 you can buy with no money down and no payments for 90 days with qualified credit and all credit apps accepted. Choose from GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. See us at Denny Manor Rapid Chevrolet or DennyManorRapidChevrolet.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A fire weather watch begins at noon Thursday and continues until 11 p.m. Thursday night. 69 tonight under mainly clear skies, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 101 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies, tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 73. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 92.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
Hi, it's Nate Brown for WeatherTight Exteriors. We all love the warm weather that summer brings to the Black Hills, but with that warm weather, we all know that storms can pop up and do some damage to our homes. That's actually just what happened to me. And when that happens, the company you can count on is WeatherTight Exteriors. They've won Best of the Black Hills 5 years in a row. I'm working with them right now, and I'm 100% satisfied. When it comes to your home, work with someone you can count on. Learn more at weathertight.com. They'll stand behind their work.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch with 2 Rapid City locations and pizzaranch.com.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Hot one in the Black Hills, but glad you're here. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. You know that. Little heat advisory here, right? Toasty. End of July, training camp starting up, all that stuff. College football getting set to go. The media days are going on. Big Ten just got started. Big Ten media days. And that's where we go on the Nate Brown Show. Jake Sorensen's out there covering the Huskers in the Big Ten for 93.7 The Ticket. His show's on in Lincoln every morning. Jake Sorensen, he rolled through the Black Hills this summer, I was told, right? Jake Sorensen on tonight. Jake, good to have you, man. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. I was out in the Black Hills for Memorial Day weekend back in May, and always a great trip as always. Sorry I couldn't see you out there, but like you just said in your intro, Nate, there's never a bad day in the Black Hills. We had a phenomenal trip as always. So,
did you play some golf? What did you do here?
No, didn't play any golf. We got a new baby. I wanted to make sure I met the grandparents out there. So we brought our at that point 1 month old. Now she's 3 months old. To see our grandparents and see some family, and do the deadwood and lead stuff, and make with some trails, spearfish, so all the good stuff. So we're active out there in the Black Hills. So you won't meet many more advocates as big as myself for that. I love the Black Hills. So
we love that, Jake. By the way, a little news flash here for you. Congratulations on the new baby. But a news flash here, breaking news from Jake Sorensen. Your golf game is going to take a hit. I hate to tell you.
It already has. This summer I have played a lot less, as you would assume. I still am playing golf. I play about once a week for league, but I'm not playing 3 times a week like I have, and so I'm down to about 1 and 2 max.
You'll be all right. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Don't
thank you.
Phase out like me. I mean, I have my golf clubs. They're hanging in my garage. There's 3 inches of dust on them. I mean, it's a sad sight. It's a sad sight. Okay, Big Ten Media Days. Here we go, man. So you're covering it. You were popping around, some coaches talking. I'm going to start with Ryan Day.
Sure.
So Ohio State, he said, we accept the hype. We got to block out the noise. How much hype around Ohio State? What do you say, and what are you hearing out there about Ohio State? I mean, the goal for them is national title. It sounds like this is the real deal.
Well, let's say this, Nate. If they don't make the playoff, it's a massive fail for a season. I think I saw that his record there is just ridiculous. He has like 8 losses or something like that. It's stupid how good his record is. But they have all the talent in the world. I mean, he brings in Chip Kelly, who is a successful head coach at UCLA, who willingly steps down to be the offensive coordinator because he just believes in that team and doesn't want to take face the issues with NIL at UCLA. So he's living in a charmed world. I mean, look at their running backs, Nate. They got 2 of the top 5 best running backs in the country. Think about that. A top 5 running back will be a backup this year. Between Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins, they are loaded. They've got Egbuka at receiver. They got Julian Fleming at receiver. I mean, they've got so many great players, and Will Howard is kind of a question mark coming over from Kansas State as their likely starting quarterback. But when you bring in that much talent, as he said, and Urban Meyer saying it's the most talented team he's ever seen at Ohio State, and Jim Tressel the same thing, yeah, you better be ready for expectations because you're in a loaded league and you are the hands-down favorite just ahead of Oregon. So I'm glad he's not shying away. They know they're the head honcho. They want to be the head honcho with 3 years in a row of no Big Ten title.
Are you buying, Jake, this Oregon thing's new now, so Pac-12's gone essentially here. Oregon joined to the Big Ten. Are you buying Oregon national hype, Dylan Gabriel? They're saying top 4 nationally. Are you buying that?
Yeah, I do. I would say I'm a little bit cautious on one thing with Oregon. If you go back to Nebraska, what we covered back in 2011, they came off of 2 straight back-to-back years of losing in the Big 12 title game, came into the Big 10 saying, hey, we'll be all right, we'll be good. They got a rude awakening, Nate. I mean, they just weren't as big enough. They needed to be in the conference, and they had a couple rough years there. But the difference is I think Oregon is big enough. They are a tough physical offensive line. They're good in the trenches on both sides. So I do think that even though they won't skate through these games, I mean they'll have some close games. They will be a playoff team. They're just too loaded on both sides of the ball. I would be stunned if Oregon fails to be a 10-11 win team and be in the playoff.
Okay, give me your sense here. We're going to go 12-team playoff. So give me your sense for how many Big Ten teams could make it. I'm talking some SEC guys. They're expecting Alabama. They're expecting Texas. They're expecting Georgia. Maybe one more. That's 4 out of the SEC. What are we talking Big Ten? Who's going to make the playoff? Ohio State, Oregon. Who else?
I would say Penn State's the favorite there to make the playoff. But their schedule is not horrible like it has been in previous years. They're probably one of the ones that are singing, thank goodness we're out of division, so we don't have to play Michigan and Ohio State every year. We get a break from that. So I think Penn State's good. Drew Aller's a good quarterback. I've always been a fan of James Franklin as a head coach. I know he's had some issues getting over the hump against those two, Harbaugh and Ryan Day, but that's tough for anybody. So I'm glad they've held on to him. I think he is a great coach. He'll do well there. They got a good running back. The defense is solid. If you had to go for a third team, it's got to be Penn State. I am not buying Michigan right now with so many pieces gone from last year, a new head coach and Sharon Moore. They won't be terrible, but I wouldn't be surprised if they only have 8 wins this year.
Jake Sorensen on from Big Ten Media Days. 93.7 The Ticket, his show on each morning in Lincoln. Find him on Twitter X at 937 Jake Sorensen. We'll get to the Huskers here in a minute, but you popped around some coaches. Matt Rule's not going to talk till tomorrow. You popped around. Who impressed you here? You didn't stay for everybody, every single question. Who impresses you as the coach in the Big Ten?
Well, I'm going to say this. This might surprise you, but you learn more from the side podiums. So when they're on the TV sessions, they're just really, they're pretty straight edge. They're not really giving a lot of stuff. They give 30 to 40-minute interviews and sometimes an hour on the side podium. And I know his team probably won't be great this year, but he was maybe the best story in the conference last year. I just love the way David Braun, the head coach at Northwestern, represents himself. He knows it's a challenge with NIL. He knows that this is a tough day and age, taking over for a popular head coach in Pat Fitzgerald. But I mean, he is just so out there and honest. And they probably won't win more than 4 or 5 games, but I think that is a quality head coach that they should hang on to for a while. So I like what I hear from him. He's genuine. He never shut people down. He talked for an hour plus on the podium. Brett Bielema has always been a guy that, he seemed kind of like a curmudgeon. He was actually pretty kind and, off. We talked to him briefly off the air, and he was super nice. But Illinois is probably set for a rough year. I like him in terms of what he brings to the table. As a 3-time Big Ten champion at Wisconsin back in the early 2010s. But I guess the long answer to that question, Nate, is that I feel like of today's people beyond Ryan Day, I was most impressed with David Braun at Northwestern.
I like it. Very interesting. So Matt Rule talks tomorrow. You're there covering the Huskers. What are people going to want to know from Matt Rule? Here we go, second year. What do we want to know?
The big question right now is I think it's an answer, but they want just confirmation. Is this Dylan Raiola's show, or is it still up in the air? Do we have an actual competition in the fall between Raiola and Heinrich Haarberg, or is this just basically his job to lose? And I would assume, Nate, it's his job to lose. He is so talented, and the hype, I think, is real about him. But I also say this, how do you get this thing off the ground? It has been 7 years since Nebraska made a bowl game. 2016 is the last time Nebraska was in the postseason. How do you avoid the slow start that has crippled this program for years? Nate, this stat will blow your mind. Nebraska has not won their first game of the season since 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, they have 2020, 21, 22, 23. They lost the first game of the season, and that just puts you behind the eight ball. And those are all against conference opponents. Now you got UTEP this year, so it should be not an easy, not a guaranteed win, but it should be a win. Then you got Colorado week 2, and then after that the schedule eases up before you get to Ohio State in week 8. So how do you get this team off to a quicker start than previous years?
Hey, Jake, some listeners, a Husker fan, sent in to me, the Huskers should be 7-0 when you really look at their schedule. UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. That's their first 7. But I told him, you can't go there. I mean, we say Rutgers is an easy one. I don't know that. Indiana, is that an easy one? I don't know that. Purdue, I mean, these guys might take strides. I can't get to 7-0, but is it realistic?
It's possible, and again, it all comes down to really how good off the bat immediately is Raiola. Is he going to have? Is he going to show some rust off the bat and some freshman jitters, which is understandable and acceptable if that happens. But if he comes out and he's just guns blazing and he's playing well, I mean, there's no reason why they can't do that. The defense is very solid at all levels. I mean, there's some linebacker questions, but I think they're overall fine linebacker. But if you look at the schedule, like you said, Nebraska will be favored to win their first 7 games. They're going to be a favorite. So that's why the caller, the texter, said that, because we all say the same thing. If they just get out of their own way, they have had so many turnovers for years and years and years, and been behind in the turnover margin that it's just they cripple themselves. If they can just play complementary football, not give the ball away stupidly. I mean, 7-0 is in play, but I would say the goal for me is before the Ohio State game, be bowl eligible. Get to 6-1. That is not too much to ask for.
Okay, so the 6-1, you think that's not too much to ask for? So the only loss is to Colorado. I mean, we can't glaze over that Colorado week 2.
I'm not saying that's a lot. I wouldn't even say that's for sure the loss in the 6-1. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that they'll play Indiana. Indiana's a team I know is on the bottom of the conference, but I like their coach, Kurt Cignetti. I believe in him. I think he could get that team good, at least respectable early on. That's not a gimme win in mid-October. But also Rutgers, like you mentioned, they're in that media poll. They were picked right behind Nebraska. They got Callie McManus, the quarterback from Minnesota, coming in, who I think will be a lot better than Gavin Wimsatt. Their defense is solid. They got one of the best running backs in the conference. And they got a great coach in Schiano. So even though it's a home game, that is going to be a tough game for Nebraska. And so I would say I think they lose that game more than I do Colorado if I had to choose the 6-1. Actually, I would take Indiana. Sorry. I would take the Indiana game as the loss over Rutgers or Colorado.
Okay, really interesting. 6-1 possible. The Huskers. Wow, that would be something. Jake Sorensen's at Big Ten Media Days. Matt Rule, head coach of the Huskers, talking tomorrow. Follow his coverage, 93.7 The Ticket. He's on Twitter X at 937 Jake Sorensen. Jake, good to have you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. Take care. Appreciate you.
Appreciate your time. From Big Ten Media Days, Jake Sorensen's on live, covering the Huskers and the Big Ten. 93.7 The Ticket out of Lincoln. Jake's on tonight. So, boy, we're setting up the Huskers this year, aren't we? We are setting the Huskers up this year. Look at that schedule. It's easy. UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. This is their first 7 games. They could be 7-0, said our listener, 7-0 before the Ohio State game. They haven't been able to get a bowl since 2016. And we got them maybe going 7-0? Maybe. I mean, that's the easiest schedule you could think of. That really is. But I'm just careful with that because I've absolutely just hit myself right between the running lights every year when I predict to the Huskers. So, before the season, we go through the predictions. So I haven't done the Huskers schedule yet. We'll do that. Should we do that this week? Maybe we'll do that. Matt Rule talks tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. And I was just hitting myself between the running lights because I said, the Huskers will win this one, and they'll win that one, and they'll win this one. And then I turn them on, and whoops. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. What do you think?
Hey, well, go Big Red, right? Like, I love it when Nebraska's good because it's good for college football. It's like it's like Penn State being good, Notre Dame being good, Nebraska being good, like Texas being good. Like
you're with it.
That's where we're at, and I love it. But what I will say is, if you're a Huskers fan and they end up being how many games are in a college schedule? 16, 8, 12?
12. Yeah,
12. Okay, say they end up being like 10-2 or something, but the strength of schedule is like cupcake.
Oh, okay.
Like you're talking.
Okay.
Is that something you still take pride in?
Well, of course. I mean, we haven't been 10-2 for I don't know how long, since Tom Osborne.
Yeah, but if you're 10-2 versus like Appalachian State, like is that?
Well, you got.
I know you got to start somewhere,
yes,
right?
Yes, you got to walk before you run. I mean, we're not going to play in the national championship anytime soon.
Well, hopefully it comes sooner, though. Like, I actually do have a lot of faith in Matt Rule. Like, he's not an NFL coach, but he is a heck of a college coach.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So give him a couple years, and I think you'll be surprised pleasantly.
McJudgerson, you just got everybody excited. The Huskers at 10-2, unbelievable, unbelievable.
Hey, I hope it happens, man. I hope it happens, and I hope the Gophers are 11-1.
All right, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see here. First 7 games, listener text, Huskers 4-3. Oh, take it easy. Take it easy. Who are they losing to? 4-3. Colorado, Rutgers, and Indiana. Did I peg them? Those are the 3 losses. Did I peg them? They haven't won their opening game since 2019. What a stat from Jake Sorensen. What a stat. Okay, let's go to some opening games. I got more listener texts coming in on the Huskers' first 7 games, which are easier than ever. What would their record be? Let's make that plan tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of the Nate Brown Show. I'm going to go through the Husker schedule. We'll pick the winners and the losers. Boy, will I just smack myself again, I'm sure. I'll just smack myself believing the Huskers again. Let's go to this opening game. If you were to set the line, I love this. If you were to set the line for this opening game, South Dakota State, FCS national champions, at Oklahoma State, this is the opening game. What line would you set? That's my question of the day on the Barron's Wilson text line. Can you do that? Hit me up on that. I'd appreciate it. I want everybody to flood those in if you can. If you can set the opening line for South Dakota State at Oklahoma State, they're going to play Mike Gundy and the boys. Okay, out of the Big 12. Oklahoma State's kind of a bubble team there. They're good, but not great. What's the opening line? Oklahoma State by 20? 14? What is it? What is it? 720-1067. Send those to me. We'll ask Mike McFeely that question. He covers the FCS for Inforum out of Fargo next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Santa in the pool? Oh, my. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July 2024 event is so great that even Santa is shocked. 20% off, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. No payments until 2026. Windows, patio, and entry doors from Renewal by Anderson. And Renewal's Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Imagine no payments until 26. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. It's Christmas in July at Renewal by Anderson. It's so good, even Santa is shocked.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Time to buy an SUV from Danny Menho Rushmore Honda. Choose from late model local trades, Fords, GMCs, Toyotas, Nissans, Jeeps, Subarus, Chevys, and more. Plus, we have the area's best selection of pre-owned Honda and Honda certified pre-owned trucks and SUVs. To make it easier on your bank account, buy with no money down and make no payments for 90 days. The used sport utilities you want are here at Danny Menho Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the Nate Brown Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. Thanks for tuning in throughout the Black Hills in western South Dakota. Remember, you can listen to us anywhere at foxsportsrapidcity.com. Live stream us on your work computer, your phone. It's all good, right? I told you, it's all good. foxsportsrapidcity.com. Live stream is brand new online player. The Nate Brown Show is driven by Spearfish Motors. That's one place I know is locally owned new car and truck dealership. I mean, there's not many of those left in the region. That matters. Award-winning Spearfish Motors. Your home for the new 2024 GMCs and Cadillacs, the Terrains, the Yukons, the Canyons, the GMC Sierras, and the Cadillac Escalade right there. Take a look, spearfishmotors.com. They've got a great inventory right now and great financing. Spearfishmotors.com. Start there. Mike McFeely is in, our FCS expert, at least one of them. Inforum.com. His work there. Columnist for Inforum.com. McFeely_Inforum on Twitter X. Mike, good to have you on in the Black Hills. How are you?
It's been a while since we've chatted. It just hasn't worked out the last couple times you called me because I had, golf and fishing going on. So I'm glad to be here with you.
What a life you have. I know it's hard. Let me ask you. I've got some questions in these opening FCS games. Okay.
Yeah, and there's some good ones, by the way. So I'm glad this is what we're talking about.
I love it.
South Dakota State and Oklahoma State, and
I
love North Dakota State and Colorado, and
let me start there. I'll
North
start
Dakota,
with you.
Iowa State. It's some good ones.
I'll start with you. North Dakota State at Colorado. That's been a big one we've talked about. So here's what I got. I asked my Colorado guys the last 2 weeks, what's the line on that? This is before BetMGM was putting stuff out. So I asked them here last couple of weeks, what's the line? One of my guys at Colorado, he's actually a a professor at Colorado, part-time. He said, I think Colorado by 23.5. Said Colorado by 23. Then a sports writer in Denver said, I'll take the Buffaloes about 13. And so BetMGM comes out, it's 8.5. What say you for that opening game?
I think it's going to be a tough game for North Dakota State. I think 8.5 is a little low. I think that 8.5 is sort of a feeler line, like kind of let's see where people start going with their money, and we'll adjust it from there. North Dakota State isn't going to know a lot about Colorado other than the quarterback and Travis Hunter, because Deion Sanders has made so many changes with the transfers, and the offensive line is all different, and who knows what the offense is going to be this year other than Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. So it's going to be a tough go for the Bison. That combined with the fact that I don't know how good this NDSU team is. They'll be good in FCS. They'll be fine. They'll find their way. They'll end up, I assume, in the semifinals or deeper in the playoffs this year. But I don't think this is a classic powerhouse NDSU team, the same way that the last couple of years haven't been a classic powerhouse NDSU team. So you combine those two things, and I'm thinking, couple touchdowns. Could be a couple touchdowns.
Okay, so it's a couple of touchdowns. That's what you say. Give me your read on South Dakota State. We lost some guys, not a huge number, but we lost some guys. And I talked to Matt Zimmer about this.
But the guys the Jacks lost are all in the NFL, though.
That hurts.
So that makes a difference.
Yeah, that hurts.
And they have some questions in Brookings as well. I just think that they have fewer questions than North Dakota State. But Oklahoma State is really good. Oklahoma State is good. They are going to have an offensive powerhouse in Stillwater. As always happens in these games, trust me on this. Oklahoma State will go, well, it's an FCS team. Mike Gundy can say whatever he wants, and he can say how much he respects South Dakota State, and he should. But the players are players. They're 22-year-old guys. I don't know if they're going to respect South Dakota State as much as they should. I think the Jacks have a better chance of upsetting Oklahoma State than North Dakota State does of upsetting Colorado. Even though Oklahoma State's really good.
Okay, so if you were to set the line, Mike, that's what I asked my audience today. Those odds are not out. BetMGM has the Colorado NDSU.
Those odds are out.
I haven't seen that.
8.5. Yep, Oklahoma State by 8.5.
Oh, I didn't see that. Is this like offshore, or is this BetMGM?
No, it's Action Network compiled a bunch of different odds.
Okay, kind of combo.
Action Network, you'll come up to a table of different odds there. So it's 8.5. I think was the last I saw. Maybe it's up to 9.5 now, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think that's about right. I picked South Dakota State in the upset in this game. If I had to put $5 on it, I'd say, what the heck? I'll take the Jacks just because I just think Gronowski's good. I think the offensive line is okay. They have a couple of good guys coming back who are NFL prospects. I think defensively, they're going to be pretty good again. Adam Bach in the middle. They got some defensive linemen that are pretty good. I think the Jacks are, again, the favorites in the FCS. I don't think there's any question about that. And I said, Oklahoma State has a tendency. They got beat by like 30 points by South Alabama last year. Just out of nowhere, they can just disappear. So that's sort of that weirdo vibe I get about Oklahoma State. I think the Jacks have a chance at pulling off the upset.
Very interesting. Okay, so you're looking at the compiled lines. Jacks 8.5 underdogs. I asked my audience, the number one vote is people would take Oklahoma State. They'd push that up to 14. 32% of the audience says Oklahoma State wins by 14.
Yeah, the way that both South Dakota State and North Dakota State play, and that's they try to run the ball, right? They shorten the game. They run the ball. They take time off the clock. I think that's an advantage to South Dakota State in these two games more than it is to North Dakota State. The Jacks might be able to establish the run and start to punish Oklahoma State a little bit up front, and they'll be okay. If you can shorten the game, and not go 3 and out every possession, then it's not going to be a 21-point game. Or it's not, they're going to be able to hang in the game. So I'm confident that South Dakota State's going to be able to do that in this game and keep it competitive into the second half. And if you can keep it within one score going into the fourth quarter, then anything can happen. Why couldn't South Dakota State win if it's a one-score game in the second half? And I think they're going to be able to do that. And as I said, would I guarantee that the Jacks are going to pull the upset? No, but what the heck? I'll take them. I've seen enough out of them the last couple of years where I'm like, whoop, they are by far the best team in FCS, so why not?
I love these opening games. You can't get better for our area of the country. Opening college football, some FCS, FBS matchups. Mike McFeely on tonight. Find him at inforum.com. I want to get your read on the FCS layout. I saw this Reddit thing. Reddit college football said the FCS is South Dakota State, North Dakota State, then Montana and Montana State, and then there's like everyone else, kind of. And they said, there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, everyone else. I think that's pretty accurate from what I've seen. What would you say?
And we've been saying that in Fargo for the last couple of years, that once James Madison left, once Sam Houston left, it's those 4 teams. And I don't know that it's everybody else, because there are still schools that have advantages over others. Idaho has resources. Idaho they like to win at football at Idaho, even though they haven't been great at it. They have a chance. North Dakota up here, they haven't been great, but they have some real nice facilities on the way, and they don't have as many resources as NDSU or South Dakota State, but they're okay. They've made the playoffs the last 5 or 6 years. So schools like that, state schools, flagships, as they like to call themselves, they're always going to be better than, Indiana State or, so that's not really fair to lump those schools in with the Murray States and Indiana States and Northern Colorados. So there's different tiers, but clearly South Dakota State's at the top, North Dakota State trying to get back to the top, Montana State real close, but I need to see more out of them. And that's, I think about it. So I want to see South Dakota. You're a South Dakota, the South Dakota sports radio talk show. USD last year was, they were good. They were, but let's see them do it more than one time.
Right.
They won a bunch of close games last year.
Quarterback's back. They'll be, they should be in there.
They'll be fine, but let's see them. They won about 5 one-score games last year that they could have lost every single one of them. So and in the end, they got pounded by a North Dakota State team that everybody thought was terrible. And so let's see what they do. But they're another one that, USD, UND, SDSU, NDSU, Montana State, they're all going to be fine because they care about football, and it's important at those schools.
I want to ask you before you leave today, okay? I can't have you on and not ask you this great question that we discuss. Is the layout thing, the conference thing, is that discussion just like dead for a while, that they're going to be FCS for however long, and Mike McFeely's going to be talking about it?
I don't think so. Patty Viverito today, the Missouri Valley Football Conference had its first of 2 media days today, and Patty Viverito said conference realignment is not finished at any level. And so she said there might be a lull right now, but there's more coming, so brace yourself. And so, again, does that mean that South Dakota State and North Dakota State are going any place? Not necessarily, but the discussion's not going away. And, by the way, South Dakota State and their media people who cover them can say all they want about how happy they are in FCS and they want to stockpile a bunch of FCS titles and they're not worried about what NDSU is doing, whatever. That's a bunch of BS. Because if North Dakota State goes or has an invitation, South Dakota State is going to want to go in about 2.4 seconds, as they should. So all this BS that Justin Sell and my buddy Matt Zimmer at Sioux Falls Live are putting out there about, we're just happy to be in FCS. We want to win more national titles. If a call came from a higher league, they would go in a heartbeat. So don't fool yourself.
Very nice. I'm going to talk to another South Dakota State guy who covers the Jacks on this show, so I'll ask him about that. Zach Borg, you may have heard of him.
Zach's a big fan of mine and Fargo, so I'm sure he'll have something interesting to say.
Mike McFeely tonight. I'm a big fan. Oh, yes, Inforum.com, his work there. Good to have you, Mike. We'll do it again. Thanks a lot.
You bet. Thanks, Nate. See ya.
Appreciate it. Inforum.com. Columnist Mike McFeely from Fargo. Covers FCS, North Dakota State. All right, so he thinks the Jackrabbits have a better chance to beat Oklahoma State than North Dakota State over Colorado. He actually is like picking the upset. The Jacks, I'm going to pick them. He says, I'm going to pick them. You're going to pick them? McFeely's picking the Jacks over Oklahoma State? What do you guys say? What would be your guess on that game? Opening game, South Dakota State at Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. What's that line? Oklahoma State hosting South Dakota State. You let me know. 720-1067. We'll get to some of your line settings. Send those in. 720-1067. The Jacks at Oklahoma State. What's that line? You said it. Greg Bell's in next from Seattle. Seahawks training camp underway. It's our NFL report, market by market. Today, the Seahawks in the NFC West next.
You're listening to the Nate Brown.
Santa in the pool? Oh, my. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July 2024 event is so great that even Santa is shocked. 20% off, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. No payments until 2026. Windows, patio, and entry doors from Renewal by Anderson. And Renewal's Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Imagine no payments until 26. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. It's Christmas in July at Renewal by Anderson. It's so good even Santa is shocked.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
DNIAutoRepair.com. During the summer months, residents may encounter someone at their door looking to sell a product or a service, especially with the recent storms and flooding. The Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division offers these tips. Avoid high-pressure sales tactics. Check for ID, such as a revenue license and proof of insurance. Ask for references and compare prices with local businesses. If you have questions regarding a door-to-door sale, contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986 or at consumerhelp@state.sd.us.
Nearly 150 years ago, Americans didn't race across the plains to settle. They pioneered. They toiled and ground the land into the world we know today, creating opportunities, not just for themselves, but for future generations. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Member FDIC. Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting heard weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Welcome back on a Tuesday on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. A lot of ways you can listen or watch the show. You can get us on your phone on Twitter, X, the live stream at Nate Brown Show. Watch the show on X at Nate Brown Show right now. Welcoming in Greg Bell. We're trying to jump around every market in the NFL. We've been a lot of places. I said, we got to go Seattle. He's the best guy we've talked to out there. Does a great job covering the Seahawks. TheNewsTribune.com. If you're a Seahawks fan. It's Greg Bell. Find him on X at GBellSeattle. TheNewsTribune.com. Seahawks training camp started today. Greg, good to get you on. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Thanks, Nate. I'm well, thank you. How's South Dakota doing? Thanks for the kind introduction as well.
Well, we're doing good. It's hot, man. It feels like we should be in Seattle, cool off a little bit. I'm going to get into a couple of things on the Seahawks. So fans are like, hey, what's the What's the biggest story of the Seahawks? My guess is it's Mike Macdonald. Anytime you get a new coach, youngest head coach, what do you think of Mike Macdonald so far? What should we know?
Well, Nate, I've had multiple players use the same word to me in that he is blunt. He's plain speaking to them, speaks directly, no nonsense, business. And no wonder. He's got a lot of ground to make up in a short amount of time here. He's changing the entire defense, entire offense, and the special teams. He's got 21 new assistant coaches. He's installing a brand new defense that he brought in from the Baltimore Ravens as he was defensive coordinator the last 2 years. He's got a new offensive coordinator from college football, the University of Washington, Ryan Grubb, who's bringing his entire UW system straight into the NFL unproven. And he has all kinds of issues on defense. Stopping the run. This team was 31st in the league last year against the run. Every team that wanted to run did and just rampaged on him. He's trying to install a very diverse, multiple switching at the snap defense, but he's got to get the concepts down to these players first. They've got to know the playbook, what certain terms mean. The offense, quarterback Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, the veteran players, Tyler Lockett, who's been here a decade, they're studying college game film of the Washington Huskies to learn the Seahawks offense because that is what they've done nothing like this before. Everything is brand new. It's a lot of teaching, and it's refreshing, really, for a guy like me who's been covering the NFL since the early 2001, 2002. And the last 14 years has been exactly the same under Pete Carroll here in Seattle. It's completely different now. I'm really interested to see how this all works, but it's going to take a while. They're not even done installing the offense and the defense, and that's going to go well into the preseason to the end of August.
Greg Bell on from Seahawks training camp. His coverage, thenewstribune.com, here on the Nate Brown Show, talking Seahawks. So is Geno Smith, Greg, just set? I mean, they brought in Sam Howell, so is Geno Smith set? Speaking of the new offense, can Geno run that?
Well, he's going to have to because he's the starting quarterback. There is no controversy here. They did trade a 4th and a 6th round pick, like you mentioned, to the Commanders to get Sam Howell, who started for Washington last year, went 4-13 for them, was constantly throwing the ball because they were behind and led the league with interceptions of 21. No one in the league threw it more than Sam Howell last year in Washington. But the Seahawks coaches and general manager John Schneider have made it clear from the very start that it is Geno Smith's offense. He has 2 years left on his deal. He turns 34 during the coming season. He's qualified for earned the Pro Bowl, which, of course, these days are pretty easy to do, but he earned the Pro Bowl each of the last 2 years. Unless he is among the worst, if not the worst quarterback in the league or hurt, Sam Howell's not, Geno Smith being, if he's hurt or the worst quarterback in the league, Sam Howell's not going to play this year if it goes according to Seahawks' plan. So this training camp and the 3 preseason games is really Sam Howell's proving ground to see if he's the quarterback of the future here. What's peculiar, Nate, in Seattle is that both Geno Smith and Sam Howell's contracts end after next year. The Seahawks get out of a lot of their guaranteed money on Smith after this year, relatively inexpensive for them to cut him next year if they don't like how this year goes. But then they'd still have to give Sam Howell a new contract. And again, if it goes as they hope it does this year, Sam Howell will not play any meaningful snaps or get any starts. So they have a quarterback of the present in Geno Smith, and there is no competition for that. They don't have a quarterback of the future in Seattle as of the moment.
Why do you think Mike Macdonald went out and got Ryan Grubb? I mean, you don't see that very often. Offensive coordinator, college level. Hey, we're gonna have you jump in here. Offensive coordinator, NFL, his first shot at that. Why do you think he took that shot?
Well, one is that the vice chair, Bart Kold, and the chair of the team, Jody Allen, decided to go with John Schneider's vision of completely tearing it up and starting over rather than with Pete Carroll's vision of trying to stay the course. And that's why they made the coaching change. It became a regime change. And it's John Schneider's show now. The second thing is they saw that they have seen for years that college football and the NFL almost mirror each other now. There's still a lot more spread and a lot simpler play calling in the NFL, but the pace, the pass game, the pass protection, the players transition from college to the NFL, it's become blurred. The lines become blurred. It's not nearly as stark as it used to be. And the style of play that NFL offenses play are starting to become more like college. And the third reason is that Ryan Grubb in Washington was so prolific the last 2 years with Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback. He led the nation in passing each of the last 2 years. Washington went to the national championship game last year, won 21 games in a row. Grubb was, with the offense that he put in, just prolific is the best way to put it. And a lot of people think it was an aerial circus. But Ryan Grubb, going back to Fresno State, going back to his days in South Dakota growing up, he is a offensive line coach first and a run guy first. People overlook the fact that Washington ran they had an 1,100-yard back in Dylan Johnson last year while Penix was throwing all over everybody. So the Seahawks have always wanted to run the ball. They do still want to run the ball with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. They have an offensive coordinator who believes in establishing run to set up play-action passes and deep throws that defenses they can't tee off in the pass rush if they have a run game.
Okay.
All of this is predicated, though, Nate. They got to have an offensive line that can be better than it's been for the last half dozen years, and that's the biggest challenge out here.
Greg Bell's on, Seahawks beat writer, thenewstribune.com. He's on Twitter X at GBellSeattle. Seahawks preview on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Good stuff. I want to ask you, here's my layout of the NFC West, but I don't know it like you. My layout is 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. Tell me why that may be wrong.
I don't think it is. Until it's proven differently, San Francisco is miles ahead of Seattle on the line of scrimmage, both the offense and defensive line. That is what Mike McDonald's first priority is to do, to get better defensively, to stop the run, and on offense to run the ball and have shorter, manageable third downs. This is one of the worst third down teams in the league the last couple of years. They have to run the ball far more effectively. They were 28th in the NFL in rushing last year, and they were in third and long the whole season. So they have to get better at the line of scrimmage to even approach San Francisco. And all of a sudden, the Rams last year, everyone thought was a rebuilding year. Stafford has a great season. Puka Nacua becomes a stud as a rookie receiver. Their defense was better than it was supposed to be when they were remodeling it. And they made the playoffs over Seattle. The Rams came in here in the opener last year and just destroyed the Seahawks in Seattle. So, as of now, yes, Seattle is looking up at L.A. and San Francisco. Arizona has a chance to be much better because their defense is younger and better. Kyler Murray's healthy now, but I would look defensively to what Arizona is trying to do down there, and they will be rapidly improved. They always give the Seahawks trouble anyway, even in their down years, but they're going to be a much improved team. Seattle has a long way to go at the line of scrimmage to get near the top of the division.
Seahawks writer Greg Bell on tonight. Seahawks training camp opens up, and our preview on the Nate Brown Show. Great stuff with Greg Bell, thenewstribune.com. Greg, good to have you. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Nate. Take care.
Appreciate your time, as always. Greg Bell in tonight, thenewstribune.com. Seahawks beat writer live at Seahawks training camp. It opened up today. There's the Seahawks preview. So that's my NFC West layout. Yeah, it's pretty easy, I think. 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. Probably pretty competitive, in my opinion, with Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. I think kind of split on the season. That would remind me of Broncos, Raiders, Chargers. It's like, well, here's the team that's above everybody, and then here's these others. They might split with each other. I really see that, like the AFC West. And the Seahawks kind of, they're okay. They're not terrible. They're not great. They're okay. They'll win, 8 games? Something like that, I think. Ryan Grubb, though, that'll be something I'm really interested in watching, of course. Here from South Dakota with Kalen DeBoer, and when it started at Sioux Falls and the whole thing, Ryan Grubb goes from Washington. He doesn't go with Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. He goes to Seattle as the new OC for head coach Mike McDonald. 37-year-old head coach, the youngest coach in the NFL. All right, good stuff. Into the drive at 5 right now on the Nate Brown Show. Hang on. Our next guest, first time on the show, but boy, it's going to be a show. Zach Borg, sports anchor for Dakota News Now in Sioux Falls. Me and him have done So many great conversations on Twitter over the years. It's just been fun, and we're going to have our first on the show tonight with Zach Board. Hang on. I got to get to this list. It's a summer of lists. So the NFL players vote who are the best players in the league. They vote for 100 top players across the board. Doesn't matter position. It's who are the best players in the NFL. Which quarterbacks are in these first 25, meaning 92, 81, 75? Big name quarterbacks on the low part of the list? Next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Save big on your next landscaping project now at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. We have the largest in-stock selection, ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our landscape design program in store or on Menards.com. Save big on all landscape blocks at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Nearly 100 new GMCs in stock and on the way at Spearfish GMC. Sierra 1500, Denali, AT4, SLT, and Elevation Edition all in stock. 2500 and 3500 HDs starting at around $55,000. Acadias and Terrain starting at $38,300. 5 Hummer EVs in stock and on the way, including the exclusive Omega Limited Edition. We've got trucks. Spearfish GMC Cadillac, online at spearfishmotors.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, it's Nate Brown for Black Hills Community Bank. If you run your own company or you're looking to start a small business here in the Black Hills, you want to make sure you choose the right banking partner, and I know the right choice for business is Black Hills Community Bank. They have plenty of banking options to suit your specific needs, and Black Hills Community Bank is here to help business owners thrive and to make sure you have the support and tools to help your business grow. Just contact one of their business loan experts today or visit bhcbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Rob at Firehouse Wine Cellars, downtown Rapid City. It's summer in the Black Hills, and our selection of wines at Firehouse Wine Cellars has never been better. The difference with Firehouse Wines is we make our wines right here in our modern winemaking facility with real grapes from the best vineyards on the West Coast. If you love wine, you need to sign up for our Firehouse Club 1915, which will get you some exclusive benefits and tastings. Join us this summer at Firehouse Wine Cellars on Main Street and enjoy the best wine in the Black Hills. You can see our great selection right now at FirehouseWineCellars.com.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Good stuff on a Tuesday. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you listening to the Nate Brown Show. Really do. Thanks for checking in however long you spend. We got you covered. Local, regional, national. We don't repeat guests or play stuff back. We try and give you new content. We know you can't hear every segment, but you can pull up the Nate Brown Show podcast. A reminder, search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got the podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got us right there. Thanks for listening. Appreciate all of our sponsors helping us cover local sports across the board. All of our sponsors on Fox Sports Rapid City, local companies we hope you support. They support our coverage of local sports in South Dakota. A lot of media companies, big companies these days, not cutting this, cutting that. We appreciate our sponsors sticking with us, helping us cover South Dakota. Zach Borg on the way. Sports anchor for Dakota News Now. I haven't had Zach on the show. I thought, why not? Me and Zach have had such interesting conversations over the years on Twitter. It's a great place to get to know people. Zach Borg's in. We're going to talk Sioux Falls Little League and more. Here we go. Dakota News Now. He's out of Sioux Falls. Zach's coming up. Here we go. The list of, well, the summer of lists. You know how this goes. The summer of lists. But this one I really like. This one I do like. This isn't some made-up list by ESPN. Oh, the top 50 athletes. Ichiro's better than Barry Bonds. Huh? Aaron Donald's better than Peyton Manning. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. This is the top 100 NFL players for 2024 voted on by the players. So this isn't the media blowhards. This isn't Tom Dinglenuts. This is the players voting, here's the best players. So you guys got to take this, right? We got to take this as, and this is pretty accurate. Should be, right? Well, let's take a look. They release this every year, top 100 players for the NFL. It's leading up to the season. They release 10 at a time. And so we're down to, we've released 30. We've released 30 players. So who comes in at number 92? Number 92, best player in the NFL. Your boy, Aaron Rodgers. Now, can we pump the brakes here a little bit? I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. What are we saying here? What are the players telling us here? Aaron Rodgers coming in at number 92, best player in the NFL? Give me a break. What are the players telling us? I thought this was a list. I just told you we could trust it. There's no bias there. These are the players' respect for the guys that have done it, the guys that have put in all the work. You can't tell me Aaron Rodgers is number 92. Get that out of here. Well, let's see. Who else? I wanted to just pull the quarterbacks. They released, here's the top 30 players. And they really, like for example, DK Metcalf is better on the list than Aaron Rodgers. Now, DK Metcalf's fine. What DK Metcalf, wide receiver, Seahawks, great. It's Aaron Rodgers, number 92. There's something going on here. Let's go to the other quarterbacks. Who comes in at number 81, best player in the NFL? Now, here's where they're telling you they don't know what they're saying. They don't know who they're voting for. Our boy, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. So anybody out there, would you put Kirk Cousins at number 81 and Aaron Rodgers at number 92? I'm talking to Jimmy Lipper, who just got off work. You're the best sports fan in the Black Hills. Would you put Kirk Cousins at number 81 and Aaron Rodgers at number 92? I mean, come on. And this is me. I'm vice president of the Kirk Cousins fan club in the Black Hills. I don't know. I think I'm president, actually. Should have stepped down, but I'm that guy. I'm a Kirk Cousins supporter. And I'm not putting him at 81 and Aaron Rodgers at 92. Somebody explain what happened to these guys. Somebody explain what the players are doing here. And then finally, coming in at number 75. So this is the last quarterback here until they release more over the next week. Number 75 best player in the league is Justin Herbert. Now, I've been told over the years, look at the tools, look at the talent, look at the arm strength, look at this guy. This is the quarterback. Justin Herbert's getting paid beyond belief. They are paying Justin Herbert a bag. And he's coming in at 75 best player in the NFL? They lost me. I thought they had me. I was like, oh, no, the players know what they're talking about. They lost me. I don't know where they're going to put these other guys, but if Justin Herbert's number 75, where's Tua? Is he not even on the list then? Maybe not. Is Tua even going to be on this list, for example? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Where's Brock Purdy? Where's Brock Purdy? Is he going to be, what's he going to be? I mean, these guys lost me. Aaron Rodgers, number 92. As much as if you don't like him or not, give me a break. Kirk Cousins comes in at 81. Justin Herbert, 75. Stay tuned. Where's my boy Bo Nix? No, anyway. Bo Nix is, let's see, I'm looking here. Number 372. No, I'm kidding. All right, Zach Borg's in next. We're going to fire it up. Here we go. From Sioux Falls, sports anchor for Dakota News Now. The real question is, with the Sioux Falls Little League winning another state title in Little League, and they have the whole metro for one team, is that a fair fight for our teams from Rapid City? Zach Borg from Sioux Falls next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Santa in the pool? Oh my! Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July 2024 event is so great that even Santa is shocked. 20% off, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. No payments until 2026. Windows, patio, and entry doors from Renewal by Anderson. And Renewal's Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Imagine no payments until 26. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. It's Christmas in July at Renewal by Anderson. It's so good even Santa is shocked.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A fire weather watch begins at noon Thursday and continues until 11 p.m. Thursday night. 69 tonight under mainly clear skies, southerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 101 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies, tomorrow night lows dip down to about 73. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 91 degrees.
The next best thing to a new Toyota is a certified pre-owned Toyota, and we have them at Danny Menho Toyota. Shop a nice selection of certified pre-owned Toyotas and get financing as low as 6.39% APR for up to 60 months on Camrys, RAV4s, Highlanders, and Corollas. Shop the area's best selection of used Toyotas and Toyota certified pre-owned at Danny Menho Toyota or DannyMenhoToyota.com. 1951 per 1,000 finance regardless of down payment with qualified credit. Expires 9/3/24.
Do you have a financial game plan for your life? Hi, this is Lee Cruz, your local trusted New York Life agent here in Rapid City. My passion is helping you put the pieces in place for your family to make sure your game plan is a success. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping people like yourself take action in securing their future. Don't wait, take action and Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. We will work together on putting your family first.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in on a Tuesday. Busy show tonight. Good stuff across the board. Thanks for checking in with us. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, weekdays 4 to 6. Fox Sports Rapid City. Stream us anywhere at foxsportsrapidcity.com. Live stream us all day long. Start with Dan Patrick in the morning. Finish out South Dakota Sports Talk Show right here, foxsportsrapidcity.com. Hey, Zach Borg and I have had so many great conversations on Twitter. I thought, why not have Zach on in Rapid City and have a conversation right here on the program? Hey, here he is. Sports anchor. Covers Sioux Falls sports. Does a nice job. Dakota News Now. Okay? He's on Twitter as well, where I've come to know him. Iceborg on Twitter. Zach, good to have you on Fox Sports Rapid City for the first time. How are you?
Hello, Nate. Good to finally talk to you on the show. But obviously been paying attention from afar. Obviously, usually kind of working about this hour a day, so I can't always tune in or listen in on the over Twitter. But I do actually have a little funny story. I have a cousin named Nathan Brown. So I've kind of been used to this name for a while.
I love it. Now, do you like your cousin? This is important.
Yeah, we were pretty close growing up. So I have he and I got a pretty good deal. We look pretty different. He's significantly taller than me with blonde hair, so and I guess so in that regard, you and him look pretty different too.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you have a fondness for Nate Brown. That's good stuff. By the way, Zach. Okay, let's get into some of the stuff. I said you do a good job covering Sioux Falls sports, and you guys do. I watch you a lot on your coverage of the Jacks and high school and everything in between at Dakota News Now. So on this front, the story of the summer, and it's just a short-lived one, but they've won the state championship 4 years in a row. They go to Indianapolis. They've won there. They've gone to the Little League World Series numerous times. Sioux Falls Little League. And so Rapid City's a baseball town. You know the history. Big baseball town, proud Little League tradition. We were the first teams that went to the Little League World Series with a couple of our neighborhood Little Leagues. We can't beat Sioux Falls nearly as much as we used to. My question for you is, Sioux Falls Little League's won 4 in a row. The setup of their league is the boundary covers the whole metro. Is Sioux Falls Little League untouchable in the Little League state tournament?
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously what made this title unique was the fact they did lose in game 1. And they had to play their way out of it this time. Obviously, they had to win the 4 straight games. They had their backs against the wall. Certainly, every year is a little different. I mean, I always say it's always a bit of a wild card when you have kids playing baseball, especially at the age of 12. So you never know what you're going to get. But obviously, Sioux Falls, I know it's a touchy situation with the boundaries too. I've gotten replies from that with people from within the East River side of this too. Obviously, there's more than just the Rapid City side of it. I know there's the Pier Charter, the Capital City, Brandon Valley has one.
Right.
I believe there's a couple other charters. I know when I kind of was brushing up on this, I didn't know if Harrisburg had one. I believe they do now. I would think theirs is growing. I mean, you look at what their Legion baseball program has been doing. I'm sure their program has got to be pretty good. So I think Sioux Falls has got something pretty good going, obviously, right now. But it took a long time for them to obviously even get the program established, because for so many years the Sioux Empire Baseball Association, which is referred to as SEBA, that kind of dominated youth baseball out here. And as long as it took them to kind of get the thing going, I still think people are kind of getting used to it around here, but I still find a lot of enthusiasm for it, for sure.
The thought is this, Zach, from out here, everybody in Rapid City looks, hey, Sioux Falls Little League started 7 years ago. I think that's the number, 7 years ago.
About, yeah.
Brand new, and so they're like, hey, there's not as many kids involved, but once they get growing, they're going to have some younger teams, and then the majors teams are going to grow. Well, they've kept that one all-star team. They've kept the boundaries the same, and so then our Little Leagues out here say, wait, Rapid City's broken up into 3 teams. Sioux Falls has 1. How's that right? And that's really it's a tough deal from this side of it, because people say, well, maybe we should just do 1 team. And honestly, Zach, I don't think that's the answer, because then kids don't get to play that would have gotten to play on some of these other teams. So I don't know how you play it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I don't know that there's, obviously part of this is there's no one sanctioning board that I'm aware of for all of Little League. It's not like you have a South Dakota High School Athletic Association for the Little League levels. I mean, it's kind of I would assume, and in fairness, this is my day off, so I haven't spoken to any of the team yet. I know we had a crew go out there today, I believe, so I know we're going to be having some sound with them, but I haven't really broached the topic as much with them. I mean, I would assume as Sioux Falls continues to grow, and frankly, this community never seems to stop growing.
Right.
Eventually, I would assume there is going to be another charter, or something's going to have to happen, because it just continues to keep getting bigger and bigger out here. And like I said, there's been no sign that. It kind of surprises me, because like I said, I thought maybe someday, I thought maybe after the first one or the second time they made the World Series, especially after the way everything blew up in 2021 when Gavin Weir was such a national phenomenon that he had celebrities who were talking about him on social media. I thought, okay, this is probably the height of it. But even last year, and certainly even after the last title, I mean, it's one of the more popular and more watched stories, more clicked on stories on our webpage. So people still get into this out here. And like I said, for context, I know obviously if you're a parent, it's one thing, but it's still 12-year-olds playing, 11, 12-year-olds playing baseball.
Right,
it's one of those things where it's like, we don't probably cover it that much until it gets to a state tournament or a district tournament, which this year we didn't even get to see because it was way up in Pierre. But it's one of those things that, boy, I mean, and sometimes, frankly, I feel a little uncomfortable when I see all the coverage it gets nationally. I wonder if we're putting too much pressure on kids when we're showing them on national TV the way it gets covered.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to get covered. I think Sioux Falls Little League, they look at it, Zach, they're like, hey, I don't know if we can get through the regional this time. That's hard to get through, and I was told maybe this team isn't quite as good as some of the juggernauts that have come through. But nonetheless, they keep on winning in South Dakota and went through our teams out here. And Rapid City Little League's always wondering, what should we do next?
Well, you never know. I mean, you never know what happens to get to the regional. I think the big thing when you look at the two teams they had that made the World Series was they had the two power players and the two power pitchers. I mentioned Weir. You go back to 2017, they had Marcus Phillips. Who
yes.
You just noticed he pitched. He was on the Tennessee team that won the College World Series.
Right.
It was fairly effective in what was his first year. I will see what ends up happening with Gavin as he starts to get older. When Sioux Falls has had kind of that transcendent player, that's really put them over the top. But I looked up their record; they're 11-4 at the Midwest Regional. So it's not just a matter of. And again, I understand that part of it is they've been able to kind of have the one All-Star team, but it's not just a matter of them going to the World Series. I mean, their overall record's 11-4. I think in the 5 regionals, they only had 1 year where they got shut out, went 0-2. So they've performed well even in the years they don't go to the World Series. I think it's a pretty good sign for baseball in this region, and it's continued at all levels, really. I mean, obviously the Little League is certainly, I know, the one that's kind of stood out, but the Legion baseball, East River, has really improved in the last 7 years. Obviously, I know Post 22 has won 3 titles, but you go back the last 7 years, Renters won 2, Harrisburg won 1, and Pierre had gotten 1 back in 2017. So the way Augustana baseball has become a force in Division II, they're still the northernmost team in Division II to ever win a national title, and they've been to 2 College World Series. So. And I had something when I was talking, and I know this won't necessarily register with Rapid City, but we have the independent baseball team, the Sioux Falls Canaries, who for a number of years, most of my 10 years here, they were one of the worst teams in the American Association. This year they've had the best record for a significant part of the year. They're trying to make the playoffs for the second straight year, and they've been bringing in more local players than ever before. And the manager kind of admits that, well, normally we wouldn't have, in past I wouldn't have done this, but the quality of the players now is so much better up here. They've got more academies, more training. It's just a different reality than it was 10 years ago.
Very interesting.
When he had been a pitching coach and when he'd actually played for the Canaries, they used to maybe try and get more talent out of the Twin Cities or other areas. He's like, it's just a different reality right now on this in this part of the state. So, I mean, it really up and down from Little League to Legion. It's changed a lot, even in just the last 7 years, but certainly going farther back. Some seeds have been planted and they're starting to grow.
Zach Borgon tonight, sports anchor for Dakota News Now out of Sioux Falls. He's on Twitter X at IceBorg. You can follow him, especially if you're a Chiefs fan. You will love IceBorg. By the way, let's go to college really quick. So you cover the Jacks. They're picked to win the Missouri Valley. Not a surprise. They're a national championship contender, and people think, well, they're going to win it again. Mike McFeely, I had him on in the first hour, covers North Dakota State in the FCS. He said, hey, if there's changes in conference realignment, the Jacks will take that call in 2.4 seconds to go to the next level. He said, and all the sports media in South Dakota should know that. Do you buy that?
I think it depends on what the situation is. I think they're a little more eager to jump to Conference USA than SDSU would be. It depends. I've talked with Justin Sell, and on the record, I think they've got the right approach. I think if the Mountain West came calling, then yeah, I think they would make that jump in a minute. But boy, you really have to know what you're getting into. The dynamics are very different. I think. And I worked in Fargo, too. I worked 4 years in Fargo. I know Mike a little bit and Dom and those guys. we have differing opinions, and I understand that, they've been in this longer, they've been winning more championships. But I think the big thing that differentiates it is you have to realize that FBS is moving in a completely different direction. It's not going to be the playoff it was. And if you go to Conference USA, it's going to be an all-sports thing. And that means that, you might get a decent football deal and maybe some more exposure. And, oh, by the way, if you go to Conference USA, you're playing your games on Tuesday and Wednesday night. I mean, that to me would be a joke. I would hate that personally. But the TV deal for that league is like $700,000. Basically, SDSU and USD make more money with Midco's TV deal right now than they would in the FBS league. So it needs to be the right fit. But otherwise, you'd be flying all of your other sports, your basketball, your volleyball, your softball, your track. You'd have to fly them all over the country. And I just want to know, I mean, it's easy. I've had Matt Zimmer say this a few times, and obviously our Sioux Falls Live guy out here who works for the Argus, he says it's easy to talk about spending someone else's money when you don't have it. Where are they going to get the money to fly South Dakota State out to, San Antonio or I think that league is to Delaware. I mean, when it's the softball team and the volleyball team, and it's every other sport, and it's the non-revenue team. So I think if it were the Mountain West, I think they would do that in a heartbeat, certainly, because obviously that makes a little more sense when you're talking about going to Wyoming, Colorado State. There's a little bit more reasonable travel, and it's a good television deal for the football. That's pretty lucrative. But, I think they have to be measured. I think they're patient, and I do think eventually that's going to come. But I think there's kind of a bit of a hurry. I mean, I read their stuff too. I mean, and I enjoy it. But they definitely felt pretty shunned when Missouri Valley got that invite, when Missouri State got the invite to Conference USA, and I kind of questioned some of that just because of the fact that I'm like, if you look at that league and you look at where it's headed, it's kind of the island of misfit toys, and I don't see the appeal of going to a league like that. Just to say you're FBS and go play in the Motor City Bowl, or ironically, one of their main bowls is the Frisco Bowl. To basically go play in a bowl game that in the same stadium where you go to play your championship game in the FCS. It just, to me, if the Mountain West call, I know this is a long answer, but yeah, if the Mountain West calls, certainly, I think SDSU is answering that call. If it's just about any other league, I don't know that. I think they'd be kind of hard pressed to do it.
Okay, last two for Zach Borg. First time on the Nate Brown Show. We'll do it again, Zach, but I got to get your take here, okay? Mountain West, speaking of Mountain West, your Colorado State Rams. Zach's a Ram. He's a Ram. Colorado State football.
Proud one.
Where do they finish? Boise State won. Where's Colorado State?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I really just hope they beat Colorado number 1 and Wyoming number 2 and Air Force, because they haven't beaten a rival in God knows how long. I think I saw them pick 4th in the last projection. I'd like to say they'll be 3rd or 4th, somewhere in that range.
Is that right? That'd be a good year for them.
Conservatively, I'm going to say 4th, but I'd like to see them go 3rd. So I just want to see some upward progress and just be. They really need to beat Colorado, because that's probably going to be the last time they're going to play them, maybe ever. And I would love to see the Dion take it on the chin. And the game's in Fort Collins for the first time in 30 years.
Wow. I like it.
That series, they've been waiting to play that game in Fort Collins forever, so they really need to find a way to win that game more than ever. I don't know if they will, but,
Okay, Zach Borg, I got to go Colorado State as an alum. You got your take there. And last but not least, will your Kansas City Chiefs three-peat? Sorry, I almost puked a little bit. Will they three-peat?
Does the sun rise in the east and the moon set and set in the west?
Okay.
Well, I don't mean to sound cocky, but anything can happen. But it's. I say this as someone who lived in Colorado when the Broncos were the dynasty in '97, '98, and I have nothing to complain about as a Chiefs fan, and I have no reason to bet against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Brett Veach, and that organization. So until they do something wrong or miss a playoff berth, I'm not going to bet against them.
Wow.
Especially after last year. I mean, that team had no business getting to a Super Bowl, and they made one of the toughest postseason runs I think the NFL's ever seen. So I would like to see them do it. I think they've made some improvements. Potentially the receivers could be better. Some losses, but the part that I like is that they're still very driven. I don't see a Super Bowl hangover. I think they really do want to make the history.
Wow. By the way,
if somebody can take the crown from them,
if
more power to them. They earned it.
If the Bills had a better kicker, it was lights out. I hate to tell you, but all right. Zach Borg
They've been saying that for about 30 years since Scott Norwood, though, haven't they?
That's correct. DakotaNewsNow.com. That's where you'll find him. He's on Twitter X at Iceborg. Zach Morgan tonight from Sioux Falls on his day off. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Nate. It was fun. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Zach Borg tonight here on the Nate Brown Show, sports anchor for Dakota News Now, live from Sioux Falls. Good stuff with Iceborg. Coming back with post-22 head coach Kelvin Torvey. The Hard Hats are in the regional. Win of the games. They win the series. They go to state. How does it look for Coach Torvey? Next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Santa in the pool? Oh, my. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Christmas in July 2024 event is so great that even Santa is shocked. 20% off, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. No payments until 2026. Windows, patio, and entry doors from Renewal by Anderson. And Renewal's Acclaim and Ensemble lines are the best of the best. Imagine no payments until 26. Please visit RBARapidCity.com now. It's Christmas in July at Renewal by Anderson. It's so good even Santa is shocked.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club in Spearfish invites you for the best golfing experience that South Dakota has to offer. Elkhorn Ridge has been ranked by Golf Digest as the #1 public course in the state. Off exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers an 18-hole championship layout with breathtaking views and an experience second to none. South Dakota's #1 public golf course is right in your backyard. Book a tee time and hit the course at Elkhorn Ridge. Visit ElkhornRidgeResort.com.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates. At your service, at your side. With offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show here on Fox Sports Rapid City. You found us. Thanks for listening each weekday afternoon, 4 to 6. We're live. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio dial. You've got us in the Black Hills, western South Dakota. A lot of ways you can listen if you don't go on the radio. We're streaming live on X, Twitter right now. Welcome in across South Dakota. People listening in Sioux Falls, we appreciate it. Follow us at Nate Brown Show on Twitter X. If you have an account, you've got us. Pull up the live stream. Welcome in studio at Nate Brown Show on X, Twitter. Follow us and watch the show live. Post-22 baseball, regular season's done. The regionals coming up. Hard Hats are hosting Huron. So here's the official game times because they were switched around. And so Thursday night, it's a 3-game series. That's how it goes to get into the state tournament now. So the Hard Hats are playing Huron Thursday night, 7 o'clock, game 1. Game 2's 10 a.m. Friday. Game 3, if necessary, 12:30. Okay, so there's the lineup. We'll have it on Fox Sports Rapid City. Head coach of the Hard Hats is Kelvin Torvey. He's on tonight. Coach, good to have you. How are you?
Doing well, Nate. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. So, you guys, here's the season, 51-15. So you look at that, you go, well, that's a darn good baseball record. So how do you say the season is?
I think we had a really good year. We go to the Pueblo tournament and win that thing, and go to Omaha and go 5-1. And so, we had a really good June. We've kind of slacked off a little bit in July, but we haven't had the string of 3, 4, 5 losses, 3, 4, 5 bad games. If we have a bad game, we come right back the next game and fix it. So I think we've had a good year. Our record speaks for itself, but now it's the second season. Now it's the playoffs, and now it's when it gets really fun.
See, that's the dynamic, Coach. It's like it's such a long season. You guys go through the grinder. You play a lot of tough teams. You travel around the country, and then you go 51-15. It's like, man, that's a big accomplishment. How do you recognize that? But then the same token, if you guys get knocked off, let's say it's state, then people go, well, that was a failure. How do you recognize that?
Well, it's just part of being with Post 22. Like I've said before, it's usually bigger news when we don't win the state tournament than when we do. And that's the legacy Coach Plouffe built and Mitch Metzer built, and so I'm trying to continue that to where the expectations are really high when it comes to tournament time. Our players understand that, and we had a conversation about that today at practice. That the expectation is we're going to do really well in tournament time. And so we embrace it, and it is some added pressure, but it's nothing that the 44 state championships in our past haven't faced as well. So we embrace it, and it's just a challenge that we look forward to every year.
How do you feel as the coach? You said, well, we had a great June, slacked off a little bit in July, but how do you feel as your team makeup to make a run here? How do you feel right now?
I like it. We've been consistent in all three phases of the game this year: hitting, pitching, and defense. We've had guys that a lot of our starters go deep into games. We've hit the baseball well. We've played good defense, and so we've had all three facets of the game has been very consistent all year. And so we're going to need to continue that to get to where we want to be.
Kelvin Torvey on tonight, Post 22 head coach. Hard Hats getting set for the regional. It's a 3-game series. It'll be at Fitzgerald Stadium. We'll start Thursday night at 7 o'clock with Game 1. We'll get into that. I want to ask you about the taste you got with some South Dakota opponents. So, like Sioux Falls East. What'd you think of them last weekend?
They're good. They were good last year. They're good this year. I think they finished fourth in the PowerPoint standings. And, we split with them. So they came into our place and beat us in the first game. We did not play very well in the first game. But, like I said earlier, we kind of laid an egg in the first game, and we turned it around in the second game and beat them fairly handily. So, they're going to be a tough out when it gets to the state tournament time. Okay,
so you got to go through Huron. It's easy to say, well, you look at their record, they've only won 4 games in state here. That's kind of a thing. I don't know if your players know that. How do you deal with being prepared here for 2-15 matchup?
Well, the game, they don't decide the outcome on paper. We got to go out there and we got to play. We got to play our A game regardless of who the opponent is. Huron was here for the veterans, and they played Cheyenne tough, and they beat Miles City, who gave us a run. It took us 9 innings to beat them. And so they're capable of good baseball. Yeah, the record isn't really too sexy, but we can't take anyone lightly. I mean, from the first pitch, we have to compete. And, that's one thing that we harp into these guys all year. And, my entire coaching career is you, like Coach Plouffe used to say, whether you're playing Pumpkin Creek or the New York Yankees, you have to go out and compete. And so that's what we try to instill in our guys, and we've had pretty good success doing it.
Okay, so like in a 3-game series, Coach, you tell me that first game Thursday night seems like, well, and I know you want to win, but it's like that first game in a 3-game series is like pivotal.
It's huge. If you don't win it, you got to sweep a doubleheader, which is always hard regardless of who you play. So Lee Negerbar is going to go for us. He's been our ace all year. I think he's 11-2 this year as a pitcher, so he's going to go Thursday night. And, we're going to play this as hard as we can. And, if we play hard, we play smart, we play with an edge, well, I think we'll acquit ourselves well.
Post 22 baseball is the 2 seed in South Dakota. They play Huron, 3-game series, best of 3. The winner goes to state. They'll keep that same seed if the Hard Hats can make it. They'll start with Huron Thursday night. We'll have coverage on Fox Sports Rapid City. 7 o'clock first pitch. Kelvin Torvey on tonight. Coach, good luck as always. Thanks a lot.
Nate, thank you so much. You have a good evening.
Appreciate the time. Kelvin Torvey, head coach of the Hard Hats, 51-15. What a season. And now it's postseason time. 3-game set against Huron. Thursday night, 7 o'clock, game 1. We'll have it. And then we will have coverage. I mean, I don't want to put cart before the horse, but if Hard Hats win, they're going to the state tournament, Brookings. We will have coverage of the Hard Hats at the state tournament in Brookings as well. So we'll let the Hard Hats take care of business first, but just a programming note, Post 22, at the state tournament in Brookings. If they make it there, we will have it on Fox Sports Rapid City. All right, coming right back, who's hot and who's not? A big number in the WNBA. A big one next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch with 2 Rapid City locations and pizzaranch.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. With today's home values, right now could be a great time to sell your home. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I would love to help you get top dollar for your home. I have been selling real estate and attracting buyers in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. If you're thinking of selling your current home, let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, wrapping up the Tuesday show. Busy show tonight. Great guests across the board. Local, regional, national sports on the Nate Brown Show tonight. If you missed some of the guests, some of the segments, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. We'll put it up here very shortly, all right? We're live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show every night at this time. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch tonight. Kids Night. Man, it's hot. It's getting hotter. Don't cook. Order up the Pizza Ranch or go to the buffet like tonight, Kids Night. 1 child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult on the Pizza Ranch buffet Tuesday nights. Buffet tonight. Open until 8 in 2 locations for the Pizza Ranch here in Rapid City. In my Who's Hot category, the numbers keep breaking in the WNBA. I told you I watched the WNBA All-Stars against Team USA. That was Saturday night. I said I was excited about it. I wasn't the only one. 3.44 million on ABC, the second biggest TV audience ever for any game in the WNBA. The only other game that beat them was day 2 of the league back in 1997. So, brand new league. Hey, everybody check it out. You're at another level now. The All-Star game has beaten everything. Second most watched ever. 3.44 million. That was a great setup. The All-Stars, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese against Team USA. A perfect storm and a huge number Saturday night. In my Who's Not category, tonight, did you see what happened last night? Royals, Diamondbacks. This guy for the Royals, Bobby Witt Jr., some people say, superstar, great player. Bobby Witt Jr. for the Royals, 1 single away from the cycle last night. His next time up in the 6th inning, he gets hit by a pitch. It infuriated the fans. I don't know the story. Oh, they did it on purpose. I don't know. I watched it. He got hit in the hand by a sinker. It was the first pitch. I don't love that side. Bobby Witt Jr., a single away from the cycle, gets plunked. And tempers flare last night in KC. Kind of Bush League in my Who's Not tonight. Back tomorrow at 4 with my Husker win total. Are we ready? Husker football win total We'll get it going tomorrow. Thanks for listening. The podcast going up right now.
Don't forget Trash Talking Tuesdays coming up in about 40 minutes.